So having thought in this manner in his mind with regards to himself, that he is one of the best students, sometimes mediocre but never the worst. So what is the purpose that the Lord Death wants to achieve through him by making him come to him? Thinking in this manner, but at the same time he wants to tell his father also that what he is doing is wrong. So now in the 6th verse he says, 6th verse, yes, 6th verse, Anupashya yatha purve pratipashya tatha pare sasyamiva martya pachyate sasyamiva jayate punaha. Remember how our forefathers acted. Consider also how others now act. Like corn decays the mortal, and like corn is born again. So here the essence of the scriptures. It's like the cream of the Sanatan Dharma that is being given, and the philosophy of the rebirth is being indicated here. And unless we do not accept, it's a theory, unless and until we do not accept this idea of rebirth, till then we will not correct our actions. If we know we are a result of our previous actions and our present actions are going to bring about a future birth, based upon our present actions, the quality of the future birth will be there. Based on the past actions, the present life has been presented to us. Unless we do not accept this, we will become licentious in life. We will never try to become better. We will just eat, enjoy, marry, and take whatever we can get by cunning, by loot, by corruption, whichever way we can. There will be no righteousness. But when we know that we are a product of our doings, and in future also will be product of our doings, then we will try to get better. Then we come to satsangs, then we take the name of the Lord, then we try to become capable of a better birth. And here that some people think, wrongly though, that there is a God up there and he has made this world and he has brought the people in this world. But when we look, a child born to a leper, did that child choose the leper? A child of a leper is the leper only. A child of a person, of a millionaire, but a stupid fellow. A child of an intelligent person, a stupid fellow. But a child of an uneducated fellow, an intelligent fellow. There is no rule, it seems. When we look at life, who is having what? An intelligent person must have an intelligent child. But it doesn't always happen that way. So, is there a God up there who's just for the pleasure of His doing all this and enjoying our troubles? He's not fair. Why I was born in such a family, why I have to live without food and water, a Sudanese kid may say, when he looks at a child born in Australia in a normal family, he's got everything. Government takes care if family doesn't take care. Huh? If a child is born in Scandinavian countries, from birth till his education, till he finds a job, everything is taken care of by the government. Everything means everything. Medical, education, schooling, clothes, books, fees, everything. Parents don't have to. Now that is just a dream for a child from a third world country or a country which is outside that third world scope. It's just a dream. For them that will be the heaven. See? So is there a God? I think that God is very biased, He purposely hates all the people of my country and He only likes the people of other country where all these facilities are. Why we can't have? Please God, please. And then He applies and he gets immigration. Oh, thank you God, thank you, thank you, thank you. But when we look at life with all its variety, there is no sense of rule. And when we think that the God has given us all this, the disparity that is there is no fairness. The way life is expressing, when we take it as an expression that God has created, then we think that God is a cruel God and we fight with Him, we are angry with Him, we are frustrated with Him, and no solution. But this is wrong understanding. And here in this verse, it is told that our coming into present existence is not a chance. This universe is not made out, it is not based on chance. There is perfect order in it. And we have not appeared in this universe at the time that we have out of a mere play of dice. Have you read that book? And God played the dice.
Einstein.
Huh?
Einstein said that.
No, Einstein said God did not play the dice.
Yeah, he didn't play dice.
Stephen Hawking said God played the dice.
He did say that.
Stephen Hawking said. And Einstein didn't agree with that. Stephen Hawking said it's a world of probability. Anything can happen anytime. See, that idea is being presented here. It is not a world of probability. There is perfect order. If it was probability, then the seasons won't come after one another. Then day will say, oh, I don't feel like going today. And the night won't come. It doesn't happen. See? So here, we have to accept first that we are not born out of chance. We are born out of perfect planning and order. And the better the planning, the better the order, recognition of it, the more pride you will have, the more strength you will have, the more cultural roots you will have, the more character you will have, the more poise you will have in life to seek the higher and higher and higher. So a person born to a person without any culture background in terms of the intellectual class, the dynamic class, the business class, and the rest of it is the worker class. So a child born in a worker class, all that fellow knows is go to work, earn money, come back. Make the wife cook the food. Maybe he will wash the dishes. And have a glass of beer and then go to sleep. And next morning he will do the same. That's all his life is. At least this fellow, the businessman, he wants to make money. And he wants name and fame. So he uses that money, uses his mind, employs his mind to make money by different ways and use that money maybe for charity, maybe for building temples and churches, maybe for helping some people. But he loves money. He's not just happy being one of the people. He wants to etch identity out for himself. A Kshatriya, a dynamic fellow, he is even more. He wants to organize, he wants to congregate people, he wants to be a leader, he has a vision, he wants to take some people who are of the same thinking as him and guide them to higher and higher glory, either for his people or for his community or for his country or for the whole humanity, whichever way you may put it. But in his own way he wants, and for that he is not worried about money, he is not worried about work, he is working, but for a higher vision. A worker is working only for me and my family and my children. But the other fellow, the business fellow, he is working only for himself. He wants the money and maybe a little bit for others, but more for me. But a dynamic fellow, he does not care how much he has or doesn't have. Whatever he has, he will employ it for the higher ideal. And yet there are other people who are the intellectual or the knowledgeable or the cultured people. They do not want anything from the society or life, but instead only want to revel in the purpose that the life has been, that they are born for. And what is that purpose of life? It is for knowing the ultimate self, and while pursuing that goal, they want to be a instrument in the hands of the divine to serve the society in whichever way the Lord guides them to from within. A dynamic fellow, he may not, but he has a desire, I want to do good to the world. But a poised fellow, a centered fellow, he is guided from within. It is not his will at all. And in this manner we see that if we are born in a particular family, to a particular set of parents, and if you retrospect your life and see how everything has fallen in place at the time that it took place and what it brought about, what fears were there, what opportunities were there, what growth was there as a result. When you, without any emotionalism, you rewind back your life into your life and learn from that life and see a pattern emerging, then you will realize that it is not by chance that you were born. That something, the grace is there, and because of that grace we have found ourselves to be where we are. Living in Australia, what did you do in your life to know that there is a Baba who didn't even ever come to Australia? Isn't it? What did we do in our life that we meet so many Mahatmas? Ammachi we have met, Anubhavananji we have met, Chinmayananji we have met, Tejomayananji we have met, and many others when you have gone to India. What did we do to deserve this? We must have done something. That masters are coming into our life. Knowledge is coming into our life unasked. We must have done something that we are getting this opportunity. It is not by chance. It is not coincidence. It is perfect plan. And that plan we created for ourselves. Essentially we are divine. But because we forgot that we are divine, we are going through this birth, rebirth, birth, rebirth, birth, rebirth. And that birth, rebirth, for the one who is only for the one who has forgotten that he is essentially divine. And this birth, rebirth happens based on the actions that fellow who has forgotten that he is divine has done in his life. Because life is for the one who has forgotten he is divine. Isn't it? So, when you have forgotten that you are divine, naturally you want to achieve, you want to do something, you are afraid of doing wrong and doing good and all those things. So as a result, you are collecting merits or you are collecting demerits. And that determines what your next life is. So if we have gone through some untoward experiences in this lifetime, when you look back, it must be because of something. Maybe there was some desire. How come today, one person was telling that, Swamiji, I don't know how I stopped smoking. Just one day to the next, I was sleeping and in the dream also I was smoking. He's telling me. In the dream he is smoking. And Lord Ganesha came and he took the cigarette from me and threw it away. And from the next morning onwards, I have not touched the cigarette. Now, even if he tries imagining Lord Ganesha in a dream, he cannot bring Lord Ganesha. See? And yet, in the dream, Lord Ganesha graced him and his habit was gone. Now, he must have done something. Then why did he smoke? Why did I smoke? I think in my past life I must have had some desire for smoking and it was unfinished and that had to finish. But I knew that knowing the truth and pursuing this goal of knowing the self is more important. But I did not have enough strength to go through leaving the cigarette. So it continued for so many years and then by the grace it dropped. Or sometimes, if you find in your mature age, when you are grown, whatever you are expressing now and in your childhood, in your youth I should say, if you find that you were disenchanted and you had gone in the wrong direction, it is not because you wanted to experience that, but it is because at that time you got distracted from the ultimate goal. And you didn't know how, because you didn't go deep within enough in order for the solution to present itself. Sometimes because of the company that we keep, because of the environment that we are in, because of the people that we associate with, we take on their ideas and get distracted from what the purpose of our life is. And then after having wandered in that hole for a few years, then slowly the Lord is always waiting. The basic premise because of which you took this birth, that is still there. It presents itself and takes you out of it. As the impression of the friends, the company, it becomes weaker and weaker. Maybe they go away, but you have picked their habits. You know how a person starts smoking not because he wants. You know, every person who has smoked, he does not like it first time. But because everyone is smoking, so you smoke. And those who are smoking, they go out of your life and you remain smoking. Isn't it? They remain smoking and you are they leave. They're gone out of their life, your life. But they have left their bad habit with you. And you are holding on. But now they are not there to remind. So it goes on for some time till it can drop you. So here we have to understand, so he's telling his father, remember how our forefathers acted. So when we use this sentence, anupashya yatha purve pratipashya tatha pare, means that when any time in our life we are at the crossroads where we are unable to decide what to do in a particular situation, when we are nonplussed, what to do? I don't know what is right and wrong. I don't know what is righteous and unrighteous. I don't know how to act in this particular situation. At that time, in whichever place you are, seek out a teacher, seek out a Mahatma, seek out a sage, seek out a prominent person who is happy and following following a good life, and either copy his actions or go and present your case in front of him. 2-3 people have come. They come here, one is Muslim family, lady has also come to me. And she says, one day she comes and she says, are you, that time I was, I can't remember, Swami or Deepak. So she said, are you Swami? I said, yes. I said, who are you? I'm Fatima and so and so. I said, Fatima and so and so? Yes, how can I help you? No, are you a monk? I said, yes, I am a monk. I have some very serious thing to talk to you about. So, in my mind, are you coming to convert me? So she said, I said, okay, you come. After 2-3 days she came and she says, I want 1 hour of your, what is your fees? I said, I don't have any fees. I said, what is the problem? No, I'll tell you when I come. I said, okay. No fees. I said, no fees. No, my Imam is something what she said. I said, okay, let's not go into that. You want to come, you come. And what was her problem? She said, I went to the marriage counselor and he is suggesting that we separate. And it is very easy for my husband to say talak, 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 and he will go his way. And we had one appointment with that marriage counselor, and she suggested that we both have a lawyer each and work it out. But Swami, she just called Swami. I said, Swami, if we both have a lawyer, whatever savings we have, that will be finished. And we will never be able to come together. And I don't want that, because our problem is not so big that which cannot be solved. So can you help us? See, I don't know your culture, I don't know your religion, I don't know if your husband will accept what I say, I don't know if you will accept. No. Will you help us will you have a chat with him if I bring him along? I don't have any problem. So they came and we had a chat, gave them some tea, coffee, biscuits, and we chatted just informally, nothing about divorce, nothing about lawyers, just what is, and as they unloaded or downloaded all their problems, slowly they started seeing where they were both being obstinate in life. And then she said to her husband, I came here before and asked Swami that if I can bring you along, and I'm glad that you also came. Swami, thank you very much. Why? Because if we had gone to the marriage counselor, we will surely be separated. And I said, then I asked, how did you come to me? No, I don't know. I saw some brochure on some shop somewhere someday, and I remembered that name. And no, yes, she said. And I was thinking, I don't want to go to marriage counselor. I want to find some other solution. I want to find a person who can help. And while I was thinking like this, I saw your photograph on the brochure in one of the Indian shops. about some retreat or something. And from there only, while I saw you, I called you. And you said yes, so here we are. This is what it is. Help comes the moment you seek help. In whichever way. The moment there is a deep yearning to the divine that please help me, I can't find a solution for myself. The divine sends help. So it is told, this is one way, that you go to a prominent person, a pious person in the society and take his guidance. Another way is, you look back into your ancestry. Are you following the values what your parents used to follow? Your values are corrupted today, all of us, isn't it? We are not living to the T like our parents did. It's a bit diluted nowadays. So you look back. Now what was the father of Nachiketa? His father was a great man. But those values he had watered down. He was keeping the good cows and giving the bad cows to everyone. Isn't it? And the third generation, Nachiketa, somehow, whatever the reason, he is born now. He knows what is right and what is wrong. Why? He has learned the scriptures. His father has taught him well. But for whatever reason the father is doing that. So he is saying, either you learn, so we must learn from our ancestors. So somewhere in the past, listen to or read the stories of the saints and sages of great people. When you read those stories, you will find someone having done or gone through the same situations that you are going through. And how he overcame, you try to overcome. Try to gain strength from that. How do people become successful? They go to this seminar, self-development seminar, that self-development seminar. What are they doing? They are trying to take in the qualities of that successful person and implement it in their life. So same thing we must also do. So here he says, remember how our forefathers acted, and how did Nachiketa's forefather acted? Generously, lovingly, withholding nothing, giving everything away. Consider also how others act now. He is not saying, look at how you are acting. He is not saying, he is much too diplomatic. He is much too respectful of his father in order so as not to accuse his father that what you are doing is wrong. A child can never tell, or a disciple can never tell the teacher that what you are saying is wrong. And if he has to say that what you are doing is wrong, there is a proper decorum. There is a proper way if you want to be listened to. Dad, you are doing wrong, you are stupid. He cringes inside when the child calls him stupid. If I said stupid to my father, I would have been broken into two pieces. Not that he would have done that, but I would surely be out of the house. I dare not. And that thought that my dad is stupid never came to me also. Never. Why? The respect was there. It never comes that my mother can be stupid. No. See? So we have to. So here it is told that everything in this, through these words, consider also how others now act, meaning consider how in that others you also come. Oh Dad. So look at how you are acting. He is trying to open the eyes of his father to the act that he is committing. And having said that, he says, like corn decays the mortal, and like corn is born again. Anything that is born in this creation must go through 5 stages, and that is birth, growth, decay, and old age and death. These are the 5 stages. Everything. You, animal, plants, rivers, mountains, everything must go through this. Anything that is created must go through birth, growth, decay, old age and death. Or old age, decay and death. So he says, you are also going to die one day, Dad. Indirectly. In that sentence, consider also how others now act. This is included. And in giving this example, this metaphor, that corn decays the mortal, and like corn is born again. You are a mortal, oh Dad. You will die one day, and you will be born again. And you have taught me what the scriptures say. And what do the scriptures say? That your actions will determine your quality of birth in the next life. So are you not afraid that doing this type of act, it will not take you to heavens, it will take you to some lesser worlds. And then you will be born again, and then because you have done such type of acts, the birth in the next life will be not of the highest, will be the highest. You will have to struggle, you will have to suffer, you will have to go through pain. If you have done, this is guaranteed. You have attended now how many? The 7th Upanishad that we are doing. You are attending the Wednesday class, Sunday class. This much is guaranteed, that your next life is going to be a very good one. You will be born in a family where all the props are already there. You will be born in a family where there is no shortage of food, there is no shortage of wealth, the parents will be loving, all the environment will be right. You will not be short of anything. And all that will be provided so that your journey, where you leave it in this life, the seeking continues. Because everything is there, don't get distracted like many children we see born in all families. They have got everything, but no peace of mind. Facebook. Look at your face, man. Facebook. So this much is guaranteed. Because now for last 7-8 years I am seeing you guys. You are all conscientiously moving towards the wanting to know this. That's the driving force apart from everything else. So this much is guaranteed. But do we want another life? We will not go into that. Here we are talking about that our acts determine what our next life is going to be. So even a weed is grown, it grows. When the rain falls, in the rainy season it grows, it flowers, it drops its seeds and it withers away. Same way he is saying here, like corn decays the mortal and like corn is born again. Similarly, this body that we are, it will be gone one day. And there is one very important point here, and that is, when we are preparing, because we know we are going to die one day, that is what his grandfather was doing, all the acts of charity, so that he is not attached to anything. Did his grandfather think that I must keep some money and cows? In those times the cows milking cows were the wealth. Should I keep some wealth for my son, that is the father of Nachiketa? No. He gave everything away. He collected his merit in life. And when did he do it? When the child he knew was, child has come, Lord will take care, or the divine will take care, education has been imparted, and now let him flourish in this life by doing his acts and collect his own merits and come to his conclusion in life. I cannot do something for your betterment. It is not possible. You determine your own life. You determine your course of life. So he did it. Now, his father was an example, but the son did not learn. Instead, he is trying to keep the good cows for his younger son. He is not allowing the younger son to discover life for himself, discover success for himself. When you do not allow the younger generation to grow on their own and make mistakes and grow stronger from their mistakes, you will have only, what do you call those? Bonsais in the house. Isn't it? Stunted growth, not a wholesome growth. Isn't it? Yes, you be there to guide, but don't interfere once they are grown. Once you have imparted the right ways when it is required, you say, but don't unnecessarily interfere in their life. Why? You have to be, you should keep yourself busy thinking about when death is coming. Instead we are thinking about, oh, my child, my this, my that, my uncle, my auntie, my parents. No. We must, but not overdo it. So, here it is told that remember how our forefathers acted, consider also how others, that is the sages and holy men of the day nowadays act. So he is bringing his father's mind how you are acting and how other people, the wise men of that time, how they act, so that he can compare his actions with their actions. So in a nice way he is putting, provided his father is available. So what is that? So in this manner, here the word, it is told, what is that? Anupashya yatha purve pratipashya tatha pare sasyameva martya pachyate sasyameva jayate punaha. So here, anu, the first word, anupashya, anu means that first he sends the vision of his father towards the direction of the past. The ancestors, the predecessors who had come, and then when he say afterwards, when he says anupashya, then he says yathapurve pratipashya tatha pare, and at the same time he takes his attention, he takes his father, tells his father to see into the future or into the present, where the people of that present time, the wise men, how they are living, and compare himself to them, and says, like corn, man too rots to be reborn again, so dad, beware. Then in the 7th verse, Vaishwanara pravishatyati Vaishwanara pravishatyati dhir brahmano gruhan tasyaitam shanti kurvanti haravaivasvatodakam. Vaishwanara pravishatyati dhir brahmano gruhan tasyaitam shantim kurvanti haravaivasvatodakam. Here he says, a brahmana, who is a Brahmin? A Brahmin is an educated person in the society who lives in the society without asking anything from the society, but always giving and imparting the knowledge to the society. They are the ideals that the society must respect and follow. And whenever such a person comes into your life, into your house, here it says, a Brahmana guest enters a house like fire. Men give this water to quieten him. O Vaivasvata, fetch water. So here he is saying that when a Brahmin enters the house, we must respect him, we must feed him, we must consider him as God. It's in every culture that treat guest like a God. So there are two things what a guest can do. When he comes and goes, he can make you rid of all the wealth that you have. And how will he make you get rid? Not that he will steal it away, but your disrespect towards that person will empty your bank account of merits. And if you respect him without expecting anything in return from him, your bank account of merit increases many, many, many folds. By which person? A person who is an asset to the society. And so in our culture or in any culture, we invite the priests, we invite the monks, we invite the saints and sages. So this is the reason that we get an opportunity to serve them and gain the merits thereof. So here we see that from the last verse where after his father has told him, go, I give you unto death, then he had a bit of contemplation going, that if my father has said that there must be a reason, what is the purpose that the Lord or death has made is making me come to him, what does he want to achieve? And then just after that, in the last verse, thinking, indicating to his father that the action that he is committing is not a meritorious one, but an unmeritorious one. After that, suddenly there is a gap. What happens afterwards? There is a gap. The movie is missing. And suddenly we find in this 7th verse that the Nachiketa, he arrives at the entrance of the palace of the Lord of Death, and he has to wait there for 3 days and nights as the Lord of Death was on a tour. He was out of station. Now, how did he reach the palace of the Lord of Death? How did he get there? Did he take a plane? Did his father help him die? Did he die himself? How did he do? This is not the point. This is not the point. Death is meeting us every moment. Are we available to it? Remember, death is the only constant in this creation, isn't it? But are we available to it? It took him 3 days. Why? The death was out of station. And he found, what is death? Where the ego, if you want to say it this way, where the mind is becoming zero. So he is waiting, but the Lord of Death, he is waiting, but Lord of Death. 3rd day he came, after 3 days he came. So how did this child with a physical body go to the Lord of Death? Is it possible? Is it not possible? Did he leave his physical body and go in a subtle body to the realm of death? These type of questions we should not get involved in. Instead, we should see that what is the teacher trying to communicate here to us, and what is being told here is that a seeker, a spiritual seeker, must seek and recognize death as he is moving through his life, and to such a seeker, and if you are intensely seeking, as I told before also in the previous class, if you are longing for a teacher is there, if you are longing for the self is there, here in this case the student is Nachiketa and his longing is for the Lord of Death. The longing was there, teacher appears. Teacher appears. If you look back into your life, every time you have longed for some help with deep intention, deep surrender to the divine, help has arrived in some form or the other. So you have a track record that help has come. So why not in this case also? Maybe the idea of death scares us. Maybe. Remove that. Take him as an entity. Okay, Lord, please teach us. And we know death is the greatest teacher. World is not the greatest teacher. Death is the greatest teacher. If you are constantly thinking about the death, you will find all the secrets of this creation. Of life, not only this creation, of life. And this, Nachiketa, he has reached there, and the idea that is being told here, and we should understand from this idea, is that whenever we seek, help comes. He was seeking, we saw the dialogue that was going on before, how he convinced himself that whatever my father says, whatever my teacher says, it must come true. And what is the purpose that the Lord of Death is going to achieve by me coming to him? I don't know, but I must contemplate, I must get to him. And when this yearning increased in him, when after 3 days, he was at the, at the threshold of the palace of death, Lord of Death. He did not enter it, he was outside. So he was waiting. But on the 3rd day, the Lord comes. So 3 days he did not eat, he did not drink. Try. And for 3 days, think only about death. Something will happen. So, the Lord, when he reached the gates of the palace of death, the Lord Death was not there, and this student, this disciple, this Nachiketa had to live there 3 days with self-imposed discipline of not eating and drinking, because he was intensely thinking about meeting the Lord of Death. And when we practice this self-control in our life, it is not that whole life you intensely purify yourself, become a good person, cultivate good values, make a commitment to seek the truth. And here in this case, he is seeking the Lord of Death. And death, compared to all other gods, the Lord of Death is one God who knows what the truth is. Other gods don't know. God of fire, God of air, God of water, God of... They don't know what the truth is. They are all demigods. And even the Lord of Death is demigod, but he knows. But he knows. So he is fortunate that his father sent him to the God of Death. So, here in this example we see one more thing. Nachiketa, before he came face to face with his teacher, the Lord of Death, 3 days he did not eat or drink. He purified himself. He concentrated his mind on the teacher, on how to get there. Similarly, here we see how we must approach the teacher within, the teacher without, the Guru principle with extreme control of our senses and mind. Supreme control should be there. They should not take us into the enchantments of the world. Pure discipline, and it will take you there. And in this way, we see that when we have that, we will be blessed by the teacher in our life. Appropriate teacher will come. And at the end of the 3 days, the teacher comes and maybe his wife, oh Swamiji, if the Lord was out, couldn't his wife have opened the door? Couldn't the servants have opened the door? I think he has some soldiers standing as the guards. Did they not? No, they did. They said, no, you cannot enter. Without the permission of Lord of Death, nobody can enter the kingdom of death. So they said, you wait here. And when Lord of Death came, Yamaraj came, he was given the news. You see, there is one young Brahmin boy, Brahmin, an educated, culturally developed child who has studied the scriptures, who knows the import of the scriptures. Such a Brahmin fellow, not by birth, but because of his acumen and education. Such a Brahmin fellow, such an educated fellow has come to our gates, and he's been there for last 3 days and nights. Oh my God, he's been there for 3 days and nights. Why didn't you bring him in? Actually, he will say that, but they will not bring him in until the Lord of Death says that he is allowed to come in. So, what happens after that is the next verse. But here, the guest is equated to Vaishwanara. Vaishwanara is the fire. So Vaishwanara is the fire within, and Vaishwanara is that fire which belongs to all the men. And in the Vedas, in the Rig Veda, 7 times the word Vaishwanara comes, where the different fires are known by this name of Vaishwanara. And what is the fire? What do you mean by fire? What is definition of fire? That which burns? Or that which is bright?
The heat.
That which has heat. Think.
Something burns something up.
So fire is that through its heat it purifies. Anything you put in the fire, it purifies. If you put a metal, it will purify the metal. If you put water, it will purify the water. Vanish. Anything you put, it will purify. So, and this Vaishwanara Agni is expressing in all living beings. Yes.
If I want to get some of my defects of character burnt off.
Yes, increase the heat.
What?
Increase the heat.
Huh?
Increase the heat.
In what way?
Increase the fire.
What? The longing or the desire to be rid of?
You don't concentrate on the desires to be rid. You concentrate on the one who can remove the desires. If you concentrate on anger, anger will become more. You concentrate on the one because of whom anger is able to express. The conscious principle, the divine principle. So, this Vaishvanara is belonging to all, and here we see that even in the modern society, respected people, educated people are given the respect. Keep the seat for them. Someone brings a glass of water, and it is natural. And if you go to even now to India, whenever parents come in, you stand up. You don't just, I'm lying down and the father or the mother comes, they have to go around and then sit down. We dare not when we were young, if the parents come, if grandfather comes into the room, attention. When he sits down or she sits, with not so much with mother, but with the father and grandfather, it used to be like that. When he sits down, then you sit down. It was a sign of respect, but at the same time a good exercise. So, who is this Brahmana or Nachiketa? He who has the cultural purity and the mind and intellect has been integrated, synchronized, and it is in that manner, it is manifesting in him, in Nachiketa, so that he can, whatever path he has employed by fasting and not drinking and eating and increasing the fire and eventually intuiting himself to the gateways of the palace of death. He has got there. Now, Asha pratikshe sangatam sunrutam cheshta purte putra pashunscha sarvan etad vrumte purushasya alpamedhaso yasya nashnan vasati brahmano gruhe. In the 8th verse, he says, hopes and expectations, fruits of company with good men, merits of sweet and friendly discourses, beneficial results of sacred sacrifices, charitable deeds, and pious gifts, sons and cattle, all these are destroyed in the case of an ignorant man in whose house a Brahmana guest stays without taking food. Meaning, if a guest of a respected, educated person has come to your house, we must feed that person and then let him go. No, I just had my dinner. Oh, really, you had your dinner? We just finished our dinner also. So what will you have? A cup of water will be fine. We don't say, allow that fellow to say, no, I want a milkshake. No, a cup of water will be fine. This is not hospitality. Yeah, yesterday that plumber came. That plumber came and he was fixing our and chatting, and when he left, no, you cannot leave. This happens with everyone who comes in our house. So Mummy was making some dosas. She said, oh, he was so nice, such a happy old man, and he had 2 dosas and he went. And he said, oh, I have never seen such hospitable people. He was so emotional. Because everywhere he goes, he knows all of them, all the people, with the names where he has eaten food. So what is the loss if whether you invite such a person or such a person comes uninvited into your house and you send that person without any food without any respect. Why? Because you are in your own air of importance, that I am great, that I am not less than him. He also has got 2 legs and 2 feet and head and eyes. I also have the same. What makes him so great? He also wears pant and shirt. I also wear pant and shirt. When we start thinking in this manner, we are expressing ignorance, not wisdom. A respected person must be given the due respect. So, what happens if he is not respected? Your hopes and expectations, they are not fulfilled. Fruits of company with good men is taken away from you. Merits of sweet and friendly discourses, that is taken away from you. Beneficial results of sacred sacrifice, that is taken away from you. Charitable deeds, that are taken away from you. And pious gifts, that are taken away from you. And sons and cattle are taken away from you. If you just see the whole idea, that if we respect someone, what are we going to get from that person?
Respect in return.
Respect in return. Blessings in return, isn't it? If a master who has come unasked into my house and I respect him, and no, I am a sannyasi, he is a sannyasi, why should I touch his feet? If I behave in this manner. But I go, if divine is expressing through everyone, he has come to my house, I go touch his feet and sit down. If I bow down to him, he has got no choice but to bless me. Isn't it? He has got no other choice but to bless me. He will only say nice words. Arre beta, no, child, don't do that. Come, you are also great. I am not great, but he told me I am great. And if a realized master says that I am great, then I have to become great, because his words cannot go false. So in that one word, he is not trying to make you feel good. Some good words come out of a great person, and a person who's culturally integrated within himself, then those words have to come true and they will be a blessing in my life. Why do you think I go and meet all those Mahatmas in India? Blessing and love. Because if we have to spend time, spend it like in that manner. And when a Mahatma comes in our house, see, when you come to our house, do we talk about anything? Little bit here and there we talk, but always the topic is about the self only, isn't it? And about where we are falling short in our practices, where we are falling short in our thinking, how we can correct our thinking, what we have overlooked. Doubts come and doubts get answered, some way or the other. So here when they say that merit of sweet and friendly discourses, where the ears don't get tired of listening to the topic, whatever he may say. When I am with Swami Anubhavanandaji, I am traveling with him, not all the time we are talking of everything, but I am just the way he expresses himself, the way he talks, the way he looks, the way he moves his hand, the way everything is fascination for me. And it's not just him. If I go to any master, that is what happens to me. And in that, my attention is, what is that which is making him who he is? What is that? What is that space out of which he is so effortlessly, elegantly, divinely moving everywhere? It happens. I don't even have to ask a question. Wise words start falling out of the teacher's mouth. I don't have to ask a word, just being in the presence of a master, isn't it? Do you get a chance to ask questions to Baba whenever you are gone? Maybe once or twice, but rest of the time you never have asked any questions. But just being in his presence, you know some shift is going to happen, isn't it? That's satsang, that's blessing. That itself brings about transformation. See? So here, we should not, anyone who comes to our house, we should not insult that person, we should not talk ill of or to that person. Instead, give them respect, you give them food, you take care of them. Then they teach you what practices can be done in order to achieve good results, what charitable deeds can you do, what gifts should be made. And those people who do not have children, when a master comes, you can ask and you can have children. If you have heard of Swami Rama was born like that. His parents did not have children, and they were there in their 40s, 50s, I think. And that time the lifespan was only 60. And this Mahatma came and they went to him and they said, please bless us. And the way they requested, he said, okay, I'll bless you with a son. Do you want us? But he said, the son will be born, but after 12 years, he has to come to me. He will be mine. For 12 years he is yours. After that he is mine. Okay. In that love for having a child, they said okay. After 12 years, no. But he took. And eventually they passed away. And then, by being in the company of his teacher, that person eventually became Swami Rama. Not Swami Rama, Swami Rama only, who passed away in 1997. So, blessings are gained. Yeah. Then, Asha is, here the word was, Asha pratikshe sangatam sunrutam. Asha is hope. And what do you hope for? Dinner? We hope for that divinity to reveal itself to us. And when a master comes to our house, a teacher comes to our house, or we are in the presence of a realized master, that hope, that expectation is met inadvertently. Something falls on our ears. In his presence, our mind stops and becomes available, and answers comes from within on how to proceed towards that, or what is blocking, we become aware of that and are able to drop it away. All these are left on our own, we'll never be able to do it. But when we are in the presence of such a person, it happens. So, Asha is hope, wishing for something that is unknown. We know, all of us have not seen the heavens. Here we are not talking about the truth, because he is gone to the Lord of death. Truth is beyond death. So, we don't know what heavens, but we have a feeling that heaven is a place where everything is hunky-dory, where there is no disease, there is no death, we are continuously youthful, and that's what we want, where our desires are satisfied the moment we have them.
And no ex-husbands.
Aye?
No ex-husbands.
Whatever, no miseries. But anyway, so all that is there, and pratiksha is expectation, and looking, here also we look forward for wealth and relationships and all those things, and we want those wealth and relationships and everything in the heaven, but we want them continuously, unstopping. The moment I want it, I should get it. Here we keep wanting and hoping to get a lottery ticket and it never manifests. In heaven, you think and you will become a millionaire. Every moment you can keep becoming millionaire till you get tired of it. So, all these things we get answers to when a pious person comes to our home, and such a person should be respected, and he is an embodiment of God, and this is the way we should approach that person. Then the 9th verse is Tisro ratrir yadavit sigruhe me anashnan brahman atidhir namasya namastestu brahman swasti me astu tasmat pratitrin varan vrunishva. Yamraj said, the Lord of Death, when he came to know whether it was his wives or whether it was the sentries, the guards who went and gave him the news, the moment he came to know, oh Brahmana, he came to the gate himself. He did not say, go and bring him in. We don't know. Maybe he told, go and bring him in. Maybe he went himself. But here it is told, he went and he told, oh Brahmana, oh Brahmin, oh pious one, thou, a venerable guest, hast dwelt in my house 3 nights without eating. Oh my God, you have come to my house and you have not been taken care of for 3 days and 3 nights. Therefore, I have to repent for it. The Lord of Death is saying, who is the master of this life? He is telling. So here the reason that they are given this topic is to show the importance that one must give to a guest who comes into your house. Any guest for that matter. A sign of a cultural growth is this. That in your mind it is not, oh, when you call someone for food, I think we'll call them at 4 o'clock. No, 5 o'clock is fine. So it's neither tea time nor dinner time. In between. So we'll just give a juice and send them away. Why? Cut cost. Not like this. It shows miserliness. So for such a person, blessings are far, far away. So here they are showing that even the Lord of Death, who is the master, teacher, he is saying, oh child who is coming from a good pedigree, from a good cultural values, who you have been waiting outside my door for 3 days and 3 nights. Sorry man, sorry. Please choose now 3 boons in return. O Brahmana, my prostrations unto thee, may good befall upon me. So God of Death is afraid of such a fellow. But it is not a fear, but it is that inadvertently some omission has happened in my abode, and it must not happen when an educated person is knocking. It must not. So he says, please excuse me, and in return I give you 3 boons. And this manner, this particular verse just shows the importance that is being placed with regards to taking care of the guests that come in our house. If we should not, the feeling should not be that, why has he come at this time? Huh? If someone says, Amma, I am coming to your house. Swamiji, I am busy on this day, that day, this day, that day, this day. How about 2 months from now? Then I am free. See? It should not be like that. Not just Swamiji, anyone. If anyone says, I am coming, please come. Come now. that corrupted thinking should not be initiated in the mind. That's the whole idea. You can adjust the time that a guest comes, but how can I get out of this? How can I manipulate this? How can I delay this? This type of feeling should not be there. There should be a genuine feeling that guest is God and my abode, my house or the place where I live is a place where guests are welcome as many times they want to come. I'll go through whatever requires to be gone through. Whatever is there, share. Then alone the mind will become calm, that I have done what was required to be done. To keep his father's word, Nachiketa goes to the palace of the Lord of Death, where for 3 nights he remains unfed to atone for his inhospitality. Lord Death Yama offers the boy 3 boons. And what are these 3 boons? Now that is the topic starting from the 10th verse, which we'll take tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, I think in the first 2 classes, we will go through the 2 or 3 boons that are there. So that will teach us how to ask, how to request. If someone says, come, I'll give you, ask me anything that you want. And sometimes there are people who say that. Tell me what, I'll give it to you. What you should ask. And if the Lord of Death, the greatest teacher, is present in front of you, then what is the quality of questions that boons you must ask? I don't know if I told you the story of Dhruva. Dhruva was there, he was only a 6-7-year-old kid. And he was meditating. His father did not take him on his lap, so he became angry, and his stepmother said, you have to take birth from my womb in order to sit on the lap of your father. And he became very angry, and he went back to his mother, and the mother said, yes, what your stepmom said is true, but you have not taken birth from her womb, so you can never sit on the lap, but there is one person who can help you sit on the lap of your father. Who is that, mom? Oh, the Lord. So immediately at that night itself, he leaves everything, and with the deep urge and hunger that I will meet the Lord and ask him that, please bless me with the lap of my father, he goes to meditate. The moment this urge is there, the teacher appears in his life, the messenger of God, the Narad Muni, and he says, Arey beta, child, you are going to meditate, where are you going? Arey, there is jungle, there is wild animals, there is this problem, there is thorns, you are not wearing shoes, there will be thieves who will take away all the ornaments. He says, I don't care, I'll throw it now itself, I want only the Lord. And he says, and when he tries to distract that young 7-year-old kid and tries to tempt him to go back to the palace in the life, back into the lap of luxury, this child renounces everything. At that time he says, Acha child, if you have decided to go, you chant this mantra, it will take you to Lord. See, the answer comes. And he tells him how to do the practice of it. He says, now first month you do this. Next month you stop eating fruits. Second month you stop eating leaves. Third month you stop drinking water. And he follows it. And when the Lord comes in front of him, he does not know what to ask. Then the Lord touches his cheek with his conch, and a prayer comes out of his mouth. And then the Lord says, ask what you want to ask. And that child, the intellect is not fully developed. In this fellow, he is very, very smart. But in that fellow, who was 6-7 years old, he is not that sharp. He went with an emotion. Here he has gone with integrated mind and intellect. That is the difference. And there, when the Lord says, ask me. So he says, what can I ask you? You already know everything. So the Lord says, Acha beta, you're trying to trick me. I'm making it up. The Lord knows everything. He knows why this child came to remember him in the jungle. What was the reason? He wants to sit on the lap of the father. So, who is the ultimate father? He did not say this father or that father. He said father. So for him, the ultimate father is the Lord. So Lord gives him a position of the pole star in the sky. That is the Dhruvatara. And when he says that for the end of this time you will be there, and when the time becomes unmanifest, you will also merge back into me. That time why did I make the mistake of, oh Lord, you know everything? I should have asked, oh Lord, make me one with you now itself. Now I have to live till the end of time as if I am immortal. And he repents afterwards. So we must know what quality of questions to ask or boon to ask if we are presented with that opportunity. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.